Okay, so briefly, in the previous episodes, a group of children stuck at the airport. Um, this guy, Milovtey, I forgot his name. I thought there's a bomb. That was a brief, funny moment in that tension. They went back. I had to do paperwork because they went back to see why they went. What are the consequences? And I don't know. So make an essay on the dear beloved. I'm just. That's not true. But there were bizarre encounters also on the airport. Make those fuckers shut up. Some guy from the Securitate wanted order, and I don't know, maybe wanted the children to write a poem, an ode to the dear beloved Ceausescu. And then after that, he maybe living 2 houses down the road, one of those who sold diluted disinfectant to the hospitals, causing maybe the death of tens, hundreds of people. Who knows? So I went down with Laurentiu at the square. There was Andrei Finzi leading in the ranks there, a hero, if I've seen one. By that I mean the others who came after that, they were just lousy, vicious dogs. From what I hear, even now the leader of the Red Plague is one of those. I mean, the Red Plague is just that. But let me not, to the marriage of true minds, admit impediments, as Shakespeare says. So yes, we were scared. I called to basically say if anything happens, maybe this is goodbye. Vrei ați te aud? So eventually, towards what hour it was, I don't know. It was getting dark, and then they pushed us to get out of the square. Now, that's an interesting phenomenon. I wrote a few times about this on the blog. Again, this is spoken, the audiobook version of my life, but it's in writing. I wrote a few versions of the same thing, trying to find what happened, trying to see if there is a sense, if there is a meaning, if I was brave and a hero, which I was, let me assure you. In fact, I was just a coward, which I was compared with Andrei Finzi, for instance. I could never go out there in the front first line fire, where chances were that they would get knocked down, maybe killed, jailed. I don't even know if he was jailed. It's very possible. As I said, he was the leader, the one I saw, and the true, honest, decent, brave man. The others were just crooks. Even those who stood in the front line in other places, they were later proved to be either nuts, crazy. I'm thinking, what's the name of that guy? There was a guy who worked with Iliescu all the time. Opportunistic fools, Petre Roman, idiots who didn't know what they were doing. Anyway, it's not even. Why am I trying to remember? Yosef, I think. It's not worth mentioning in this great story of mine to give space to fools, idiots, or monsters. So, Yes, it's an interesting thing. Many things are gone from my head, and I was just writing a few days ago about the experiences connected with the Queen of Beauty. I will probably call her here too. That's what I did in writing, avoiding her real name, just mentioning she was Miss Romania a few times. Anyway, very few, if anybody, is watching this and or reading what I write. So, from a different point of view, it doesn't have to be so secret. Such a I don't have to take such care to avoid her hearing about this and reading and saying, "Oh, it's out in the open for the people to see," or as if people see, read, or watch. They don't, which is good. I just mentioned earlier in a video for a film note that was called An Idiot. In a film I made, or comment on a film I made calling to boycott Mulan, which is on BBC now as a movement, I hear, because they filmed in the province where they keep Uyghurs in the education, aka labor camps. Disney filmed there. I called for that because I read in The Economist that the actress in the leading role is pro-Chinese, and saying I don't want to know her name, whatever it is, Wong. This guy called me an idiot and a racist for saying that and telling me her real name, which I don't remember. I don't care to know because, again, I insist, she's pro-communist, not because she's Chinese. She could be Swedish, Brazilian, Romanian. It doesn't matter. Pro-Chinese, I don't attack her. I don't want to know her name. And I said, whatever it is. Come to think of it, now that this guy told me, I think it's Lee something. And it will stay with me. I could have said Lee because it's also quite frequent, I think. Anyway, so let me see. We still have some time. It's out of the memory. Details connected with the house where I called from. What did I say? How did we get from the Roman Square to the University Square? It must have been on the Bastiglia, or it must have been at Perla. We arrived and then we took another route, somewhere Polona maybe. But I'm sorry. What maybe should have been moments, details, seconds, milliseconds that should be here with red irons, but never to be wiped from the head, are gone, and not just seconds. The whole journey from Roman Square to 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 University Square is gone, and so many other things. I was saying earlier that writing about this Queen of Beauty, Zara. There's somebody training the dog here. It's distracting and causing me to hear what's going on there. Distributive attention. What is that? We should be able. Who said that? Fitzgerald said that you should be able to keep two things if you have a good mind. If you're an intellectual, you have to be able to keep two things at the same time in your head. And something like opposing. You should be aware that there's possibility that this leader of the free world is a very stable genius. And then the other possibility that he's actually a very stupid very stupid. One of the worst fools in depending on which camp you are. I mean, so yeah, I mean it's something to think of. So yeah, to continue or to be continued. We reached University Square later in the evening. It was already night. Well, it was getting dark very early then. It was December, and many said it was also a question of luck, or maybe the stars were aligned in such a way as to do this, to make this possible. And normally you would have very cold weather. Well, true. On the other hand, now we have climate change, and we know that it's getting warmer and warmer and warmer to the disastrous point, really. So it was warm, but it was getting dark soon. And I also think I remember that we parted we stayed at University Square for a while. And we parted somewhere around the subway, and I went home to return the next day. And I will let this for tomorrow. In the next episode, in the next episode, I'm coming back to the square, to the Central Committee building first, and then I will continue through the city with the marches, with the people, joyful, blissful, nirvana. At the television station we went, then we came down maybe Victoria Avenue, again I don't remember, and we would have some bizarre, absurd moments again near the former Royal Palace tomorrow. Don't miss our next episode. Or, in fact, maybe you should, because it's not going to be much different. Same old shit.